I didn't know what red flags and signs to look for. Maybe I wouldn't be sitting here where I am, blind in one eye and, torn AC and rotator cuff and with the pain and the trauma that I've been through. This is probably one of the hardest photos to look at. For a while, it was almost like it played in my head over and over. And I was outside watching a movie, but it was really something that had happened to me. It was a 3.5-hour fight for my life. And I still remember the noise of the crunching of the knife going in my skull. And I remember just thinking, okay, I guess this is my time. I'm going to go home and meet God. If I hadn't fought like hell, I wouldn't be here today. You can't always tell the face that evil has. It's definitely not what I thought it would be. I believed if somebody loved God, they were a great person. That really got shattered about 4 years ago. When they say that love is blind, it really is a true statement. And looking back, I think, how could I have not seen what a monster he was? My whole life, I had always visioned having that marriage that God talked about in the Bible. I went on dating websites and I was very specific with what I was looking for. I wanted a God-fearing man that showed it in his life. This was one of the first photos that Sean sent me of himself and his semi-truck that he drove. My first impressions of him was that, he was very handsome. He was sweet. He knew the Bible. When we first started talking, it was a lot about our values and our faith. He told me that he attended church regularly and that he used to take groceries to the elderly, that he was very involved in serving with church. He kind of passed all the little tests that I gave him and kind of met the expectations that I had to kind of move forward with somebody. I was really kind of starting to think that, this is maybe a person God had brought into my life. But he's the person that taught me there was evil in the world. One of our early dates, my church was having what they call a Good Neighbor Weekend. Everybody goes out and kind of serves. We're like the hands and feet of Jesus. This was the photo that him and I took at the Good Neighbor Weekend when we volunteered together. And I had invited him to come with me. And I almost expected him to just say no, but he kind of said, sure, absolutely. I would love to go with you.
Thanks for coming out today.
We planted, we, de-weeded, we put rocks down, and it was just a great day. He worked really, really hard, talked to everybody, just seemed like he was a really good guy. And it was just nice to see someone that kind of was wanting to do God's work with me. So we ended up talking about just different things in our past. He told me that he had been married before, but, it was kind of a bad situation.
Things didn't really work out between us.
His ex-wife had cheated on him. He found her in bed with somebody, and that was kind of the final straw, and he just knew that she wasn't going to change. He ended up beating up the guy that he found his wife in bed with. He went to jail for it and got an assault charge, is what he said. I would have probably done the same thing if the situation was reversed. So that didn't make me think any different of him. He really wants to get married again and have kids and, it be forever this time. At the time, I thought he's a great guy. Let's kind of move past this and let's focus on us and our future together. And so, we definitely moved pretty quick. Years later, I found out that the assault charge wasn't because he beat somebody else up. He didn't even ever find his wife in bed with another person. The assault charge was for attacking his wife. I never really saw what a healthy relationship looked like because I didn't have a father. And so I didn't know how a man was supposed to treat a woman or what he was supposed to say. And so I think that affected a lot of my relationships. It wasn't big fights, but what I kind of learned was that what he said went. One day, Sean was upstairs working. There was a knock on the door, and it was one of the contractors. And I went upstairs to get Sean because he hadn't heard the door. We came downstairs, and he started talking to the contractor.
Yeah, thank you.
Then, the contractor ended up leaving because he got what he needed.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Sean started going off on me and telling me, don't you ever answer the door unless I'm here. Why would you let somebody in? You don't know who he is. I don't trust you, with anybody else in this house. You make sure that you don't have any guys in this house unless I'm here. I don't care if they're contractors. I don't care if they have work to do. If I'm not here, they're not coming in. And he was very mad and in my face and then walked upstairs and walked away. I was very surprised that he got angry, but I believed at the time that he was really trying to protect me. Our first session, I would bring up something and then he would overtalk me, say, that's not how it went, this is how it went, and he would cut me off. He wouldn't let me continue talking to the counselor, or he would let me talk to the counselor, and then he would say, oh, no, that's not how it went. This is how it went.
We've had a few sort of
It was about 3/4 of the way into the hour, and I just remember the counselor saying, okay, I'm going to stop you guys right now. My recommendation is going to be that you guys do not get married. We both were kind of shocked, like, what just happened? We came for premarital counseling. You're supposed to be helping us with the tools to have a better marriage. I didn't feel like she had the right to say that yet because she didn't really know us. But at that point, we were in a good place. We were going to church together. We had started praying together, started reading the Bible together. We closed up the session. Sean went to the bathroom. I remember the lady kind of pulling me aside and saying, I just get a feeling that this isn't a good person for you to marry. I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, I just don't think you guys are supposed to be together. And then he came out of the bathroom and we ended up leaving. I kind of took it as, she was a stranger and I kind of knew more about my life than she did. And I didn't see any big red flags. I mean, we were moving in the direction of getting married. That's what I wanted. I think I was just very set on him being a good person and, our lives kind of aligning. And so I wasn't ready to kind of hear that. I used to have a lot of guilt about why I didn't listen and why I didn't see those things. I think things would have turned out differently. Sean would just get to a point where he would explode and he couldn't kind of handle his emotions anymore. It really did concern me. We started arguing more and have more altercations. I was starting to really wonder if this was the relationship that I wanted. And I said, I think we kind of need to discuss what the counselor said and how we're going to kind of move forward. There's been things that haven't been the greatest lately. And so I think that we need to make a decision to kind of go our separate ways. He ended up going into the bathroom. And he was in there for a little while. I remember hearing the bathroom door open, and I remember seeing blood just pouring down his arm from his elbow to his wrist. It was kind of terrifying.
What did you do?
And he told me that he had cut his arm with a box opener. He got mad and he ran out the front door when he just got in the car and drove off. I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do. And so I called his mom. His mom said, all I can do is tell you to run. And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, that's all I can say, and kind of hung up. I was worried about where he was. I was worried about whether he was okay or not. I, at that point, didn't know how bad it was. I was sitting on the couch when he came home. It was almost kind of a relief when I saw him and he was okay.
Where have you been?
I just needed to clear my head.
I went and got kind of a cloth to kind of wipe the blood off, and it really wasn't a deep cut. I just asked him, why would you do something like that? He explained that, it was something that he had did because he was scared he was going to lose me.
I just can't stand the thought of us not being together.
He believes that kind of God put me in his life and we're supposed to get married. He knew that, I would feel bad for him, and that's kind of why he did it. And I had found a person that knew how to manipulate and prey on someone that wanted to be in a relationship. And I think looking back, I could even yell at myself and say, why did you stay? But when you're in it, it's not that easy. When you're in it, you don't see the things you see looking back. Looking back, I see everything.
We are supposed to be together.
It's not what your mom thinks.
I told him that, I had spoke with his mom, and his mom said to just run. I asked him what that meant. He told me, I'm not surprised that she would try to sabotage something that's going good in my life. She typically does that in my life. He definitely preyed on my sympathy. My desire to be in a relationship helped me overlook any doubt that I had.
Don't let her come between us.
It makes me shocked that, I believed him and that I didn't see kind of the manipulation that was going on. This is our wedding trailer. We humbled ourselves and did what Jesus did to the apostles and washed each other's feet. I thought it would be a nice touch to get Sean a knife that said Hubby Sean on it. He had said he was somebody that was patient, somebody that was kind, somebody that wasn't self-seeking, somebody that would love me and honor me and cherish me. It was something I had dreamed of my whole life. And instead I got somebody that lied to me, that was angry, that made me feel worthless. He had me fooled as to who he really was. We cherished and wanted this to be a godly relationship, so we didn't have sex till we were married. It was not the intimate, romantic relationship that I thought we would have. We definitely had sex when I didn't want to. I remember one night I was so exhausted and so tired. I just wanted to go to bed. He wanted to have sex. He started kissing my neck. When I said no, I really don't feel like it. I'm really tired. He made me believe that it was something that was wrong with me. He said I was letting him down and letting our marriage down, and I wasn't doing my wifely duties. He knew that me thinking I was not a good wife would be very hurtful to me. I wanted to be a good wife, and I wanted to make him happy. I remember him rolling me over, and I literally just laid there. And, he just had really rough sex with me. Tears started to fill my eyes, and I just thought, is this really what sex is supposed to be? I definitely felt violated. I thought that I was being a good wife by letting him do it. That definitely is rape, and that's not what a good marriage looks like. I definitely felt that biblically I didn't have a reason to leave. He hadn't cheated on me. He hadn't physically hurt me. We had made a commitment for better or for worse. And, this was a worse time right now. Things kind of started taking a turn for the worse. He never liked to kind of work through things or talk about things. I mean, he would get mad and scream and yell and walk away. I noticed whenever his temper flared up, he would disappear into the basement. One night, we had gotten into a big argument, and he went down in the basement. He was there all night and then came up and went to work. I went downstairs and I looked around the corner and saw a big black punching bag that had my name spray painted on it, Sarah. And I just, was in shock. This is a photo of our basement. I remember this like it was yesterday. To know that he was punching something that had my name on it was kind of scary. I cringed at the thought of someone spray painting my name on a bag and that he's literally down there basically beating out of Sarah, It's just kind of sick. Even though this was in the basement, I never believed that he would physically hurt me. But I was dead wrong. I didn't understand why my name was on a punching bag. When he finally came home, I asked him about it. And again, he kind of brushed it off like it wasn't a big deal. He said, well, it's better that I hit the punching bag than I hit you. And I thought, well, I guess that makes sense. We had kind of made the covenant of marriage. And so it was so hard for me to be okay with walking away because he hadn't physically hurt me. When we were kind of just not connecting like we used to, it seemed like every other thing I said was wrong or every other thing I did was wrong. We started to have sex less. I was a little relieved that he wasn't coming to me every single day to try to have sex with me. I started to wonder what was going on. He was spending a lot more time on his phone, which kind of made me wonder what he was doing on his phone. He had gone upstairs and I started going through his phone and I saw that he had placed some personal ads on social media and was looking for married women that wanted to have sex with married men. There was one person that he had been talking back and forth and he had messaged her and said, me so my wife can come home and catch us and then she'll leave me. I really didn't care because we were not in a good place. But on the other hand, I knew it wasn't right because we were married. I confronted him about the ads and, he said that, he was lonely. He had never met anybody. He had never done anything with anybody. And so, it wasn't that big of a deal. He always had a reason or an excuse or a way of talking his way out of everything. He wasn't really the godly man that I thought he was or that he had portrayed himself to be. Even though, we went to church every weekend and attended church, he didn't live that out in his daily life. I started to think that maybe all the things that he had said to me or all the things that he said he wanted were lies. This time, I kind of had decided that maybe things needed change, and I decided to kind of go stay at my mom's for a little while. This wasn't a marriage, and this wasn't a place that, God wanted me to stay. So this is the hood of my car. I told him I was going to come pick up the car. And when I got there, it was keyed on both sides from the front to the back. And on the hood, he wrote bitch in a key mark. It made me sick to my stomach. I don't really understand what kind of person would do something like that to someone's vehicle that they loved. This just kind of shows the type of vindictive and sick person he was. He knew what he was doing every second and every moment that he did this. I started getting text messages that were videos from him. He literally was going through every single photo that we had of us.
You never cared about me!
Talking about the memory and talking about that it was a lie and that he hated me and why would I say these things and I never really loved him. And he literally would rip the photos up and he would throw it in a trash can.
None of this meant anything to you!
He was getting meaner and nastier with what he was saying, and he just kept sending them. I had to literally turn my phone off because I couldn't sleep. When I woke up, I turned my phone back on and, had 30 plus videos of him continuing to do what he was doing. He just wanted power over me and was realizing he didn't have any more power. I had really started to realize who he was and the manipulation that he was doing. That was the wake-up call I needed. Moving, to Arizona from Indiana kind of gave me my freedom back. I think I believed that once I left and created some distance in between us, that he would be able to leave me alone. And I was wrong. I had become so isolated and confined. And so I had to figure out what I liked again, what my hobbies were, what my passions were, and what I wanted to do in life again. I didn't have anyone that was telling me who I could and couldn't hang out with. I could go do things with my friends when I wanted to. And I was really working on a lot of personal development and self-growth. So I had done photography before, and I decided to update my online accounts for my photography business. I got a text message from someone saying that they would like for me to do their engagement photos. And it was a pretty big hike out to the actual point that they wanted to take the pictures at. I looked it up and it was about a 2.5 mile hike. I overbid the job because I had to bring all my gear out there, and I'm not a hiker. I was really surprised when they accepted the bid. A little bit later, I get a text and it said, "We know some friends of you and, your husband's. Your husband's a really good guy, and we don't know why you would leave him." So that immediately triggered a light bulb. Has to be Sean. I thought me leaving would just help him understand that I was done. But he wouldn't leave me alone. I said, I had something come up and I can't do the shoot for you guys. Knowing Sean and all the things that he had done in the past, I wouldn't put it past him to go to this low to figure out what I was doing. Looking back on that, I really feel like I came extremely close to death. He would have lured me out to that location and he would have easily killed me. I received a text message. It basically said, "Hey, I am really excited to come out to Arizona. I can't wait to be together. It's like nothing's wrong. Nothing's happened. He's coming. He can't wait to start his life together with me." It took me until the next day to even respond. And I just said, "I'm not interested in being with you." He said that God had told him that it was time that we got back together. I just said, "I have no desire to be back with you. We're separated. We filed for divorce. I've moved on with my life. I wish you the best. You need to move on with your life." I felt like it was a mind game that he was playing. But I also had the security that he didn't know where I lived. So I thought that I was safe. He told me that he already knew where I lived. And this was the picture that came next. And I was in complete disbelief. He wrote the letter to the last known address and put "Do not forward, return to sender." And they sent it to him. And it had the little yellow sticker on it with my address. When I got this photo, my heart started racing. I didn't want him at my house. The fact that he knew where I lived scared the out of me. I still never believed that he would do what he did. I never believed somebody could be that evil. September 15th, 2018, I did my morning routine, opened the door, and as I opened the door, Sean was standing around the corner. He had a can of bug spray and sprayed me in the face with it. I fell on the floor and he got on top of me. I started screaming, "Sean, what are you doing? Stop, stop. What are you doing, Sean? Sean, stop. What are you doing?" He told me he had been stalking me and watching me for weeks. He told me that he wasn't happy and I was, and he couldn't deal with it. He said that he wanted closure. He pulled out a knife and he said, "Do you remember this?" And it just so happened to be the knife that I gave him on our wedding night that was inscribed and said, "Hubby Sean." He told me that he came to kill me, that he was going to cut me up into pieces and put me in a suitcase and drive off a cliff and commit suicide. And I believed every word he said. I was scared for my life. I knew that I was going to fight like hell to survive. He put a plastic bag over my nose and my mouth and started to try to suffocate me. He said that we were supposed to be married forever and that he could never see me happy with somebody else and having a child with somebody else, and that, you know, if he couldn't have me, nobody could have me, and that, you know, one of us was going to die that day. I remember feeling something go right below my eye, and I didn't even see it because the plastic bag was over my face. I remember hearing crunching and a sound that I will never forget to this day. And all of a sudden, I couldn't see out of my right eye. And I had an excruciating pain that I had never felt before. I had no clue what had happened. You know, I had the bag fully over my face and was trying to kind of get him off of me. I just grabbed whatever it was and pulled it out and threw it. I remember clawing at the plastic bag and trying to breathe as the bag went in and out, you know, with my breath. He was trying to suffocate me. And I remember just my breath was getting really shallow and my body was starting to get lethargic. And I remember just thinking, okay, I guess this is my time. I'm going to go home and meet God. It was really scary to know that it could be over. You know, I felt like I wasn't done with being here, and just to be grasping for air and not being able to catch my breath and feeling my body almost go limp was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And then I rememdered that my mom would be left here by herself and she would lose her daughter. And that just gave me a fight to fight a little bit more. And I was able to get him off of me. The bag came off my face and I could gasp for air and catch my breath. The whole time I'm thinking, how can I escape? I've screamed, I've yelled, nobody has come. I asked him, you know, like, why are you doing this? And he just said, because we were supposed to be together forever. It was till death do us part, and one of us is going to die today. I was really trying to kind of figure out what he wanted and how to kind of get into his mind to save myself. It was hard to kind of think like a crazy person would think. Try to figure out what he wanted and where he was trying to go with this and what I could say to make him happy. I was able to convince Sean that I was unhappy and didn't want to live without him. And that pretty much all this had been a show, and I missed him, and I really loved him, and I wanted to be with him. I said, why don't we go get some ice cream? Because it was something that we had done before. And in that moment, I had kind of passed that test for the time. He said, okay, well, that sounds like a good idea. But, you know, I want to make love one more time before. I thought to myself, well, I'm definitely not going to say no because, you know, I've kind of been through this. And so I went into the bedroom, lay down on the bed. I remember just seeing this group of people. I remember thinking to myself, this is it. If I don't get out now, I'll never have a chance. And I grabbed the door handle, the lock opened, and I was able to get my wrist out. And I just ran as hard as I could towards the people. And I said, help, help. He stabbed me. He raped me. Sean drove off really quick. This probably was a day or two after I'd been attacked. My face has been cleaned up. There's not blood. How can someone do this to somebody else? Much less, how can someone that supposedly loves someone and was married to somebody and wanted to spend forever with them do this? He brought a murder kit. He had researched how to stab someone in the eye to kill him. He meant to stab me in the eye with a knife, but because he had the bag over my head, it missed and went below. The cut under my eye is where the knife went in. The eye socket was fractured when the knife went in. I still get twinges in my eye, and I still don't have any feeling in my forehead. I stayed in the hospital for 5 days. My eye was pretty swollen shut. They told me it would never open again. I think that he really took the vows of till death do us part. I mean, he told me I was going to die that day. This is a photo of Sean in his wardrobe for the rest of his life. He actually kind of hated the color orange, so it's kind of funny that that's what he gets to wear. I hope that someone shows him the same evilness that he showed me. I mean, this is such a different photo than the person standing in front of the blue truck in the first photo he sent me. I don't think he was ever capable of being a kind, loving, godly husband. I will always look over my shoulder. Even though he's been sentenced to life, he could get out in 25 years. If he ever gets out, it'll be the scariest day of my life. My faith today is stronger than ever. I believe that God is using the bad situation to help others kind of get out of a situation that they're potentially in. I felt a lot of guilt that if I would have just walked away, I would have my vision and I wouldn't have pain constantly. But I'm put here to help others and to really create awareness around this. I believe that he was a fraud the entire time, that he never really loved me and he never really came into this relationship wanting the same thing I wanted. I think the fact that I didn't have a father figure in my life and I didn't know what a healthy, good relationship looked like really made me vulnerable. He definitely found somebody that he could prey on. Looking back, I wasn't strong enough to walk away when I saw that first red flag. Even though he's locked up, I have learned how to protect myself. I carry a weapon with me. It's a life that I never thought I would live. It's not just a dark alley where someone evil is going to be. It could be somebody that's sitting right next to you and you have no idea what they're thinking.
Father, we are gathered here for this opportunity to share a testimony that Terry is given the privilege to speak what has kept her imprisoned and that she has the opportunity to be set free.
I do have nightmares about Russell. They're vivid nightmares. He's trying to choke me and get on top of me.
We thank you, Father God, for your Holy Spirit to be in this place.
Oh, Jeff's a man of God. Jeff gives me strength. He tries to help me remember.
I ask for your anointing to fall upon this place, to be prevalent and to be an anointed filming of Terry's testimony. In Jesus' name I pray it. Amen.
Amen.
Prayer, for me, relieves anxiety. No one understands what I feel and what I felt. I was a prisoner. I have mental disabilities. I blame Russell for my mental situation. He took away my sense of being. He took my mind. I just feel like I'm a nobody. Emotionally. Mentally. I lost everything. I lost my own person. I lost me. That's when I learned that he is a monster. That was my life. Pieces. Pretending that everything was okay. To see his face just triggers in my mind. You know, he did this to you. He did this to you. You know, some people, they say, why can't you just let go and let it be? Nobody understands why I can't. To look at him brings back memories. I met Russell in 1987 while I was working in a doctor's office.
Excuse me.
Russell came in to have a tattoo removed. Russell would tell me how pretty I was. He made me feel very, very special. He made me feel like a person because I had a hard family growing up. It was very volatile. The first time I saw Russell was, oh my God, he's the bomb. He's nicely dressed. Hair is all, manicured and clean cut. He asked me if I would go on a date with him.
You got any plans this weekend?
I promptly said yes, and I gave Russell my telephone number. He would open doors, send me flowers, and I just thought he could take care of me. I thought Russell would be my knight in shining armor.
Call me.
Not knowing behind those baby blue eyes was the enemy. On my first date with Russell, We were walking around. Someone behind us grabbed my bum.
Hey!
I told him somebody touched me. Russell just turned around and knocked him out cold. And he asked his partner, did he want to be knocked out like that too? And the guy's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. He claimed that he loved me, and he just did it to protect me. I had mixed emotions about Russell and his demeanor changing as a flip of a switch. I was very shocked. Part of me was scared. That should have shown a trigger to me. But I was so stupid. I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at him and his feelings for me. I let it go because I still wanted him in my life. I just thought I found my mate, and it just all spiraled down from there. He enticed me to come live with him in his little home, and that's when all the weird stuff started spilling out.
Yeah, everything's good.
When my family would call to talk to me, Russell would tell them that I did not want to talk to them. I couldn't talk to them.
Don't call here anymore.
Russell didn't want anything to do with my family. My parents did not like Russell at all. And he didn't like them because he thought that they were trying to control me. Russell liked to have me all to himself, just me and him. One day, he came home and he told me that he had a marriage license for us to be married.
Got a marriage license for us.
We talked about this.
I was like, I'm not ready for marriage right now. And he told me it had a 30-day expiration date. I felt like he was pushing me to do it.
You get married or not, it's simple as that.
You know, now or never, now or never. Well, at that time, I found out we were going to have a child.
Okay, well,
I grew up in Catholic church.
can I see it?
I felt pressured. You do the deed, you gotta make a family out of it. I did go ahead and get married because we were expecting. But the only persons he invited to our wedding was his mother and father. My family didn't even know I was getting married because I wasn't allowed to talk to them. Russell thought that I was his property. I thought it would change Russell to have a family, to have children. I just wanted that love. But that was the starting point of things just going to hell. My biggest regret was to marry him. To this day, I don't know why I didn't see the signs. I was celebrating our first Thanksgiving dinner as a family. I wanted the dinner to be perfect for me and for him. I lit candles and we had china, nice silver spoons. And I asked him how did he like it. And Russell said it tastes like prison food.
All I wanted was a good meal, and you couldn't even do that.
He really hurt my feelings. He was being critical of how I did it. I just felt like I didn't do it good enough for him. I was mad then. My first thought, well, you don't want to eat it, I'll put it in the garbage. And that's what I did. He got in the car and left. Later, I wondered why or how Russell had known that it tastes like prison food. Looking back on it now, I could tell that he'd been in prison before because he distinctively knows prison Thanksgiving food. If I had known the truth of Russell being in jail, I would have broken it off. I should have left then, but I didn't. I look back, and I wonder why I didn't go. I had the perfect chance, but I missed it. This is a picture of my husband, Russell, myself, and our daughter. This is a happy picture. I remember when I had my daughter right before he left. Told everybody, oh, it's a girl, it's a girl. It strikes me, he looks like a loving father. It was just another lie. It's like my marriage never had a chance. Little did I know what my life was gonna spiral down into. Just hit the fan. In that picture is a hidden monster that didn't come out yet. I just wanted him to love me, is all. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted, was someone to love me. Russell had a dark side. I never knew about it. It's a sexual thing with Russell. Russell liked to have sex when he wanted sex. One night when Russell came home, he was getting all goosey, touchy-feely. He told me he had a little surprise for me.
I got something for you.
And I said, well, okay, what is that? And that's when he brought out the handcuffs. No wasn't a word in his book. He didn't care if you said no. If I said no, he would hurt me. It was easier to do what he wanted than to fight back. He took the handcuffs, put the handcuffs on my wrist, attached it to the bedpost of the bed. He was very aggressive. I just wanted Russell off of me, and I couldn't get him off. I was just laying there, afraid of the repercussions of telling him no. I just felt like a nothing. I was a nobody. I was just a piece of meat. When I looked into Russell's eyes, I can tell that he was satisfied because he got what he wanted. No means no. I don't care if you're married. Rape is rape. When you say no or get off of me, that means get the off of me. You feel dirty, you take a shower, you scrub yourself till your skin's raw. I'd scrub myself till my skin bled, just to get that out of my mind. Russell would spend all the money we had and money we didn't have to buy drugs.
We're broke. Do you get that?
He stole very precious jewelry from me. He pawned a diamond heart from my parents. I was given a diamond heart 16th birthday present, and he just pawned it away. Russell stole a necklace, my class ring, my diamond ring, and diamond earrings, and pawned them so he can get drugs. I really tried hard to get him into rehabilitation. I told him, you need to get rehabilitated if you're going to come back to this family. He's like, you talk too much, you get into my business. Just shut up, shut up.
I say no!
And he grabbed me by my throat and lifted me off the floor. Everything went black. The next thing I remember, I was on the floor. When I woke up, he was just standing there, repeating, I told you to shut your mouth. I told you to be quiet.
You don't listen.
I realized this is not going to be a good situation. I need to get out. Well, I snuck out with my daughter, and I went to my parents' house and they told me, I told you so. I was just beside myself. Why did I let myself get into this? And I asked God, why? What did I do? Love's not supposed to hurt. A lot of times Russell would leave without telling me why, or where, or how long. He'd be gone like 1 or 2 days. The police would call my home. Russell was arrested for doing drugs, having prostitutes. They gave him probation. Russell would tell me stuff like, no, it's not true. They're lying to you. But when Russell got out of jail, he gave me little trinkets and bracelets, day planners. When Russell brought me gifts, he told me, here, I found this for you. These were used items. They weren't brand new gifts. I knew they were stolen. I knew they weren't bought from a store. I believe Russell stole these items from women's purses. I felt like my life is starting to unravel more and more. Each day that passes, each lie he told. Knowing what I know now, it's possible that he was already raping and killing other women. He was in and out of prison a lot. That could have been my chance to leave, but I didn't. I couldn't afford it at the time, and I thought he loved me. But that was another lie to myself. I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to be with somebody, but I stepped into an alligator's mouth, and he just chewed me up. One day, Russell told me to dress up and undress. He took pictures of me. It's humiliating. Knowing someone that you love so much, could you just do that? Treated me like a prostitute. As Russell was taking the photos, I could not see him. I couldn't see him, but I heard the camera flash. And he would tell me, oh yeah, that's a nice pose, that's a nice pose. He told me how beautiful I was, that I was special. He told me to smile, so I did.
Turn around.
I felt dirty, ashamed, ugly, disgusted. But that's the way Russell's mind works. Russell often humiliated me, but the photos told the story.
Come on, look happy.
One day I was at home and I received a phone call from Russell. He told me that he was incarcerated. Russell asked me to come bail him out of jail. I thought it was drugs or prostitution charges. And like a dummy, I went and picked him up. I found out that he was being charged with attempted rape and kidnapping. As it turned out, Russell went to work on his welding job. There was a girl having car troubles. Russell stopped to help her. He gave her a ride by coaxing her into his car. Russell tried to rape that woman. He didn't get that far because 2 men walked up to Russell and saved the girl from being raped and kidnapped. I felt angry. I felt disgusted at him. I just wanted to get in the judge's chambers and tell them, just keep him so I can get away. The judge only gave him probation, which I found sickening to my stomach. When we got home from picking up Russell from jail, it was like life as usual. Russell would often take my daughter on a ride late at night, and he'd be gone for a couple hours. I stayed awake till 2 or 3 in the morning just waiting on him. I had so many times to leave him. I just don't know why I didn't. I guess I just did not want to be alone. By this time, we were expecting our second child. I had 2 kids to take care of. I needed my children to come with me. When my little son came into the world, Russell and I was ecstatic. But then he accused me of affair with my employer, which was not true.
I know you're sleeping with him.
I mean, I couldn't go anywhere unless he knew. I had to tell him who, what, where, why, when.
How could I possibly go do that?
I felt like a hostage. Russell had a gun in the house, and he made sure that I knew where it was. Russell told me that if I ever left him, that he will hunt us down. I was too scared to run. I felt like a prisoner in my own mind and body. Russell wanted to show me that he was powerful. Russell wanted to show me how to kill a person. He brought out the knife. It was a medium-sized, flat blade. Russell said, "I want you to do this in case something ever happens to you." And he put it up to my stomach. He said, "You push the blade in and then lift it up so it'll tear the contents of your heart and your chest." That's what he told me.
You understand?
I wondered if he had done this to somebody else. It did make me scared, because if he knows how to do that, is he going to do that on me? One time when Russell was in prison, I did move to a 1-bedroom apartment with my 2 children. Being away from Russell, I finally felt free. I felt good. I could breathe. But I knew he could find me. And he did.
So, are you running home from school?
One day I came home, and there was a note, a yellow piece of paper note on my door. It was from Russell. He stated that I'm a no good mother. I'm unfit. I'm going to turn you over to DCF. You'll never see them kids again. When I saw the note, I got scared because I knew he knew where I live now.
Are you all right, Mom?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how Russell found me, and I could not get away from him. And he followed me everywhere. I couldn't escape Russell. The memory of Russell frightens me. And I heard Russell calling my daughter's name.
Jennifer, honey, are you there?
It gave me more anxiety. I was at my wit's end. At times I felt like committing suicide because I just couldn't take it anymore. I'd cut my wrist. I sliced open my leg. Why I did it was to release the anxiety. I might get upset, but I don't want to cry. At one point, Russell started to disappear. He was in jail for drugs and prostitution. With Russell being behind bars, I feel a little bit safe. It was December. I obtained an attorney to get a divorce from Russell. The officer went to the jail, served him the paperwork, Getting a divorce from Russell was the best Christmas present I can get. I thought it would be done. I thought I'd be rid of him. I kept using my phone and my computer to track him down, just to make sure that he's still where he is. But in 2012, when Russell got out of jail, he went to my dad's house looking for me. I received a phone call from my dad, and he notified me that my ex-husband, Russell, came to his house looking for me.
What did you say?
He asked, well, do you know where she lives? My dad said, no, you don't know what you've done to her. And he says, I'm sorry. Can I please go see her? And he said no. My dad told me that Russell was not in his right mind. He's out of jail, and I don't want him finding you. I knew he'd find me. I knew it. One day I was outside. My son was in the backyard, and this car pulls up and parks. Russell pointed at me. Here I am. Oh, he found me.
I'm back.
So I immediately went to the back gate and locked it from behind so he could not get in. And then Russell left. After that, looking over my shoulder was an everyday thing. One day I had an eye doctor appointment. After my eye doctor appointment, I got into the car and turned on the radio, and they had a news flash. The news flash was Russell Tillis has been arrested for murder, kidnapping, dismemberment of a body. I wanted to see it on the news to make sure that it was true. The second I walked in my front door, it was on.
Remains of 30-year-old Joni Lynn Gunter were found in the backyard of this Jacksonville home. The man accused of this brutal murder, Russell Tillis.
Disgusting. What did she ever do to him? She did nothing wrong. She didn't deserve what Russell did to her. I'm so sorry my ex-husband did that to you. I heard on the news that he was talking to another inmate, and he stated that I, Russell Tillis, killed that woman and held hostage 5 other women.
Tillis paints a vivid picture of what he did to multiple women, saying, quote, he didn't mind if they were there locked up in the room. Tillis described raping multiple women over and over and allowed friends to rape the women as well.
I was watching the news constantly just to make sure that he was, yes, still in jail. He didn't escape. I watched news, 24/7. 3 different channels. The more I watched, the more I learned of what happened. It was just craziness. And his trial went on for years and years. And those years and years I wasting my mind on him, not being connected with my family, my husband, my children. The authorities call the house a house of horrors. And, to me, that was scary. There's more than one Joni out there. Me and those other girls, we were just sex toys of Russell. Is that not disgusting or what? That's what I married.
Russell Tillis, sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison without parole.
It is the intention of this court that you never again be allowed to live among civilized people.
When Russell was found guilty, I felt why did he do this to me? I don't understand it. I did nothing wrong. Why, Russell? Why? You just hurt me so bad. Just looks like an old man that wouldn't hurt anybody. Looks like a monster to me. I'm hoping that Russell Tillis never gets releases. May he die in jail for the sin, the horrific sin. Not just on one person, not just on one female. I don't know why Russell spared my life. I just got lucky, I guess. I do not know how many victims Russell had and what he did to them. With Russell being behind bars, I feel a little bit safe. But there's always something in the back of my mind. He's gonna get out. Because he always did before. I would feel better if Russell was dead. Yes, I would. I want to finally get some sleep. I wished that we had a family. A normal family. But it wasn't to be. I had plenty of chances to leave. But I felt sorry for the guy. He played on my mind and my heart. How many women are still out there fighting the way I'm fighting? You put the blame on yourself. I put the blame on myself for letting myself get entwined with this person. It'll be with me for the rest of my life. I want people to know that there is a way out. I got set free. I prayed for strength before I did this program.
We thank you, Father God, that her story will touch another soul. Just give them hope that they can escape the prison in which they feel that they are trapped in. It's about saving souls. It's about setting souls free.
We prayed for it to be a release. We prayed for it to be a strength within me and how it would affect the rest of my life. And Jeff is that for me. He has totally twirled my mind around for the better. Jeff and God are both my source of strength, especially God. When you give him your weakness, he'll reveal your strength. I'm a victor. I'm no more a victim. And that's what I want people to know. You can be a victor.